Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. First of all, I would like to take a little bit, just a brief introduction about myself. My name is Wen Xing. I'm the dealer of the HQ dealing team, managing the thousands of accounts in Phillip Securities. So I have a little bit background in the cryptocurrency, and during my free time, I will also learn about fintech industries. So today I will be sharing about our blockchain knowledge, especially the fundamental knowledge. And at the end of this webinar, and these questions, I think we can answer these questions. So what we are talking about, technology or finance, when we are talking about blockchain. So first of all, just a little bit introduction about Phillip Capital. So we are an integrated Asia financial house with a growing global presence. In 15 countries, we have the financial hubs. So I believe a lot of people have heard about the blockchain. And of course, blockchain has raised the attention from the public in the past 2 years. However, some people may also not really familiar with this term blockchain. And sometimes people were confusing blockchain and the cryptocurrencies. Therefore, today we will be sharing the fundamental knowledge regarding blockchains in the following 5 questions. So actually the whole webinars will be divided into 5 questions. The first one is, what is blockchain? Second one is, what is cryptocurrency? Third one, what is the relationship between blockchain and the cryptocurrency? And where does blockchain exist in our daily life? And last but not least, what is the possible future of the blockchain technology? So, okay, let's start with the first question. So, I just want to understand a little bit more in terms of from your guys, what do you think is blockchain? You can type your answers in the chat group. So you can type here to tell me, what do you think the blockchain is? Is it a structure, or is it a technology, or is it a data storage? Anyone can give me a answer or your opinion of this question. What is blockchain? Okay, I saw some answers. Series of info. Yeah. Could be. A list of transactions. It's a good answer. A list of transactions. Okay. So first of all, blockchain is a database technology, and it is a decentralized distributed data storage structure, which is open source. So for these terms sound difficult to understand, and later we will explain these terms in a very simple story. So for blockchain, it is one kind of the decentralized distributed data storage structure. So we can see here, this one decentralized, the one I circle here actually is considered about blockchain. But here is the distributed ledger technology. So blockchain is one kind of the distributed ledger structure. Okay, so just now I talked about decentralized open sources. This is quite like a technical terms. So I will explain it in a very simple story. Let's imagine a CCA. So when you are in the school, you have a CCA, and then in a CCA club, you may have like around 20 to 30 people. So the usual situation is that the of this CCA were recorded by, let's say, were recorded by president. So in this case, right, everyone trusts the president, and he is the only one will note down all the details of the transactions and has a ledger. And this form is called centralizations because president is the only one who can take down the transaction details, and he is the only one who has a ledger. However, in this situation, if someone want to steal the ledger secretly or modify the ledger, there will be nowhere to follow the true record. Then what should we do? So in order to ensure the safety and authenticity of the ledger records, right, the CCA president thinks of one way. Okay, everyone in the CCA has a ledger, and every time there's a transaction, basically there's a expense or there's an income, right? All of the members will record down on their ledgers. In this way, if someone wants to modify the ledger, he needs to modify at least half of the ledger, which will increases the difficulty of the change of the ledgers greatly. And obviously, so in this system, president is not the only one. And it removed the central, which we will call it decentralizations. Meanwhile, actually everyone can record on the ledger, and this is called open source. In the blockchain background, each ledger you can consider as a block, and the chain is to connect each block to transmit information. So actually blockchain amplifies this like a CCA club structure into like 100 people, 1,000 people, and even 1 million people and more. And the information actually is not only transaction details. It can be transaction details, but it is not only transaction details. On the blockchain, you can record a variety of information based on the different scenarios. Okay, then someone may also ask, if recorded in this way, right, the information will be open and transparent. Then if others go and look, it is very easy to know and understand because it's like a black and white text. It's not really good as we always would like to protect our information. So in this case, we will mention another feature of blockchain technology, which is encryption. To make it simple, right? The information recorded by blockchain needs to be encrypted through a cryptography, and this makes information tampering more difficult. However, actually blockchain technology, right, is still in the early stage. It still faces a lot of limitations. And the limitation we want to mention here is the most famous one, which is called blockchain trilemma. So we can see, actually this model is quite famous lah. So it's just a triangle. And normally we see it in like a country macro model. If you learn economy, right, you always see this model in the macro economy. Okay. So we can see the first one, this one first, decentralizations. Why? Because this is the code and the nature of blockchain. So if we look into transactions, to make it decentralized on the blockchain happen, consensus is one of the most important things, which means that the transactions is recorded by a group of nodes instead of a single nodes. So if you wanted to achieve pure decentralizations, right, it will cost speed. Cost the pure decentralizations means all the people need to record down together. Then it is not really like everyone will record down at the same time. in this case, right, it will cost a lot of time to compare with only one person to record down the information. Because these decentralized transactions require multiple confirmations to reach an agreement between the parties to the transaction, it will inevitably take much longer than the centralized confirmation. So later we will mention a little bit about Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is also a highly decentralized, but at the same time, its speed is very, very slow. The next one we want to talk about is scalability. So as we understand, right, during our daily life, we use Visa, we use Master. So for example, for the Visa possesses an average of 63,000 TPS. TPS is what? TPS stands for transaction per second. So actually for Visa, right, the average is 63,000. However, if you heard about some project in the blockchain, EOS, right, is one of the famous project that wanna deal with these scalability questions. However, the maximum throughput of the EOS is only about 4,000 TPS. So the thing is, if you want to apply blockchain especially into the finance industry, the scalability is very, very, very important. Although in the future, there may be a network that is superior to large scale and the international credit services, this trilemma expresses that it will lead to a certain degree of concentrations. And the next one is security, or we call it safety. As the blockchain system is very promising and a novel technology, more and more companies and individuals join the blockchain system. And the security is like the baseline of every technology regarding the internet and informations and the data. So whether the blockchain ecosystem is safe or not is basically determined by the security level of the underlying source code. So the inspection of the underlying source code cannot be ignored. Due to the transparency of the source code and the potential benefits that may be brought after successful attack, the blockchain has become one of the primary targets of hackers. If there are loopholes in the security, right, scalability and the decentralization will become meaningless. So security issues must not be ignored. For example, previously the very famous DAO attack was caused by the low level of the source code security. This trilemma is a conceptual model used to explain the various challenges currently faced by blockchain technology. So in the summary, right, we can just summarize all the things in this one question. How can we improve the scalability without reducing the security level and maintain a decentral network on the chain? So currently a lot of projects and even very traditional tech companies are working on this problem. They create a lot of like a side technology to help this lah. But the truth is this problem, this situation is not being solved currently. So after we talk about blockchain, we cannot. I mean, when we talk about blockchain, right? Cryptocurrency is something that we cannot ignore lah, basically. So we talk about blockchain, then we must talk about cryptocurrency and also a little bit about Bitcoin. So what is cryptocurrency? Cryptocurrency actually is a digital asset product formed as a transaction medium in an encrypted, secure peer-to-peer economic system. It uses encryption technology to verify and protect transactions and controls the creation of other units. for BTC, which is Bitcoin, it is one of the cryptocurrency and it is also an application of the blockchain. So Bitcoin has a constant total amount of 21 million and will have every 210,000 blocks. It has characteristics such as decentralization and the anonymity. As transferring Bitcoin is really easy, it is as easy as sending an email. So this Bitcoin was designed for finance industry, such as cross-border trade, payment, remittance, and other fields. As blockchain is decentralized and there's no central accounting node, so the entire network needs to reach a consensus. Currently, there are 4 main consensus mechanisms, and now I will talk about these 2. So for blockchain, for Bitcoin, right, it mainly uses POW, means proof of work. So proof of work in one sentence is, in the blockchain system, the more you do, the more you get. You can understand this proof of work as a certificate that can prove what you have done or you have done a certain amount of work. Other than the POW, proof of work, another main consensus mechanism is POS, proof of stake. So this one is not used by Bitcoin. POW is used by Bitcoin, but POS is another one. And actually you can consider it as an upgrade of POW. So POS stands for proof of stake. To introduce POS in one sentence, you can understand in this way. The more you hold, the more you get. So each time a transaction is verified, the verified is awarded a certain commission in the prop string. And this ratio is defined by the number of tokens owned by the verifier. Means the more coins you have in the blockchain, the more coins you have, the longer the holding time, the greater the chance of recording the transactions. So after we understand about blockchain and cryptocurrency, anyone can tell me what is the relationship between blockchain and the cryptocurrency? Actually, the relationship is very, very simple. You can type your answers, you can type your thoughts in the chat box. Just now, I already mentioned, right? Blockchain is a technology. Yeah, it's a network. Then cryptocurrency actually is what is built on the blockchain, right? Also, so we can say that cryptocurrency and the blockchain are integrated and closely linked because blockchain is the lowest level technology, is a fundamental base, and the most important technical means of cryptocurrency. Blockchain is the basic technology, and the cryptocurrency is just one of the applications of this revolutionary technology. So basically, cryptocurrency, we can understand this is a scenario that we can apply blockchain into. So yeah, I believe a lot of you understand about this already, right? So as we mentioned just now, cryptocurrency is just one application. So what are the other applications we have during our daily life? Have you heard about any other blockchain application in your daily life? Maybe you can mention some companies who are using blockchain already in their products. So it's during your daily life, have you encountered some product or some process, or have you heard about some companies that already employ blockchain technology into their daily operations? Yeah, I saw people mentioning Alibaba. Yeah, true. Alibaba actually is one of the company has a lot of patents of blockchain. IBM Square. Okay, so in addition to transaction scenarios like Bitcoin, the development of blockchain technology actually has gradually begun to be applied into other scenarios. So this is just one example in the supply chain management. This is from the JD.com. Blockchain technology can be used to trace the origin of the goods to ensure the quality and the safety in the transportation. This is just a simple example of the JD.com, which has invested blockchain technology in their product traceability. So previously, right, we only can see the right part, product information and the logistics information on the packagings. And this part of the logistics information, there was no way to check the authenticity of the information. So sometimes if for example, some wrong case sometimes people may just stick a fake logistic information here and then we don't know. However, when the logistics information is recorded on the blockchain, we can directly query it with the certificate address and the traceability source code. This is just one example about the product traceability. Second scenario, similar to transactions, but it's also a little bit different. So I will summarize it all as fintech. I believe some of you guys are familiar with this picture. It is a picture I used when I talk about Hong Kong and China new economy. So under the fintech, right, we can see the blockchain actually is the first one here. Okay, so the first one here, right, from my understanding, under fintech, blockchain technology can be applied to almost every scenarios here. So for example, PayPal, MasterCard, and Square, just now a lot of people mentioned about Square already because it's quite a new US payment company. But for PayPal and MasterCard, we consider as a traditional payment solution, but these companies have started to embrace blockchain into their payment solutions. So these two are well-known cases. So it's when we think about blockchain companies, you will be easily to think about, okay, supply chain management, and you also can think about fintech very easily. But today I want to talk about another 3 scenarios, which is all around our life. It's very important, but sometimes we may ignore, we may overlook. The first one is digital identity. To understand the blockchain advantage in this digital identity, we need to understand what is digital identity. It is not a very simple identity with your name, your passport, or your NRIC. It is a concept integrating science, technology, law, ethics, sociology, marketing, and even philosophy. Okay, so it refers to the identifiable description of individuals through digital information. It is also understood as condensing real identity information into a digital code form to bind, curate, and verify personal real-time behavior information. Digital identity not only includes identity coding information such as birth information, individual description, and biological characteristics, but also involves in personal behavior information with multiple attributes. So for example, right, WeChat or Facebook social information, your Alipay and the Amazon store transaction information, and even the game and the video software store entertainment information, these are all the attributes as part of your personal digital identity. And these are the parts that can distinguish you with others. Why do we need digital identity? Because first of all, it's because with the digital identity, there will be more flexible use of personal information by yourself. So users not only have the right to control other people's access to personal data, but can also decide on when, where, and how to publish their own information. In addition, right, the digitalization of personal identification information helps users to conduct transactions with the outside world more conveniently, and at the same time protects users from illegal activities. Because you have the control of your own personal information, you can decide where and how to disclose it with this digital identity. The second reason is it can improve management service capabilities. As a digital identity records all citizens' identity data and the behavior information, in the face of citizens with different attributes and their needs, the government can provide corresponding assistance to them. At the same time, from the perspective of the authority, right? With the help of this digital identity system, the authority can strengthen certain supervision and enhance the effectiveness of supervision. And also, with digital identity, it can improve the work efficiency of the service party. On one hand, the service provider can use the user identity information recorded in the system to customize products and services based on user attributes and the purpose disclosed by user itself. On the other hand, the existence of a digital identity system can effectively replace the previous complicated paper certificates in terms of the processes, reduce the cost of repeated communication between service provider and the users, and greatly improve work efficiency. From here, we understand the necessity of the digital identity and why do we need blockchain for digital identity? Because behind the blockchain-based digital identity, it mainly covers four important dimensions: identity autonomy, data security, personal privacy, and asset. The encryption and the distributed storage of blockchain can effectively protect users' privacy and data security and leaves the decision-making power of user information in the hands of users, becoming a type of digital asset. The specific value actually can be reflected in the following three aspects. The first one is the data is true and valid. So, issue a credit endorsement before the data is put on the chain and put the data on the chain. Means from the first, when you put the data on the chain, we already confirm first of all, we need to confirm the accuracy of the data. Then once the data on the chain, right, the integrity and the security of this identity data on the chain are guaranteed by blockchain. and the risk of identity leakage, theft, tampering, and fraud can be prevented effectively. In addition, every piece of data on the chain is truly and completely recorded in each node under the consensus of others with sufficient evidence and traceability. The system is open to all users, and all participants need the authorization of parties to obtain other personal information, especially the information owner. The second one is actually privacy protection. So the identity information is very sensitive data, and the data should be distinguished during the application process. Public data with a lower privacy level can be kept on the network, and extremely important private data can be stored on the user's device and forming an on-chain and off-chain complete model of private plus privacy. The encryption mechanism of the blockchain effectively guarantees the security of the user's privacy. And on the other hand, the blockchain can ensure that user privacy will not be used by anyone else at will, and the right to use is in the hands of the users, not the platform. Last but not least, data sharing and the user permission. So at present, right, each internet platform is independent of each other, and each maintains its code data. So when you want to change the data, for example, when you want to change your personal information on the, if you want to change your personal information on the another website, you need to fill in the information again and again and again. However, using blockchain technology to build an alliance chain systems between major platforms, relying on the corresponding smart contracts consensus mechanism and the incentive system can effectively drive companies to share data and promote industry information circulation and integration. At the same time, users have the right to select, authorize, delete, and restore identity data. So in the future, if you have the digital identity on the blockchain, when the data is stored in the blockchain, you don't need to change your personal information by manually filling the data again and again and again. With the blockchain alliance, your data can be updated in one time. Other than the digital identity, the next one is assets digitalizations. Assets on chain, that is the information, rights, and the circulation of the traditional assets are mapped to the blockchain. So generally speaking, it is to use blockchain technology to register the information, property rights, and the transaction more methods of assets, so as to effectively connect the assets with the token on the blockchain. Currently, assets that can be chain or can be put on chain include multiple valuable physical assets, such as real estate, automobiles, machinery, and artworks, as well as virtual assets such as technology patents and intellectual property rights. So currently for the blockchain industry, it is quite popular to do real estate on the chains. Means your housing right is on the chain, then it's easy for you to sell, it's easy for you to transfer this ownership of your real estate on the blockchain. The reason why we need to do this assets digitalization on the blockchain is that, firstly, it is a need for asset circulation. So it's due to the development of the globalization, right? The world is becoming more and more integrated, but the circulation of the assets between countries is not really very convenient. The second is the need for asset safety, same as a data. Actually, when you put your assets as a digital assets, a private key can travel for a private key in your hand can travel all over the world. So in your side, you don't have to worry about the asset loss if you keep your private key. The third is the need for the access to be chain because for our intellectual property rights and the personal data often lose value because of the inability to confirm rights and cannot effectively become assets. However, with the development of the blockchain technology, this may not be a problem because for your intellectual property, as well as your property rights, once it can be chained, it can be your assets already. The next one is the copyrights. As we all know, in the field of content creation, there have been 4 major problems in the copyright protection, including difficulties in confirming rights, which is the first question, how to prove my original article belongs to me and not to him, and difficulties in discovery, which is the second question. Difficulties in obtaining evidence, third question, and last question is difficulties in the rights protections. So this is the 4 main pain points of the current copyrights in the copyrights issue. With blockchain, it can provide a solution to these pain points and has legal effect. Give me a moment now. Okay, so basically through blockchain, right? Through blockchain, it is applicable to all offline copyrights protection scenarios. As the blockchain has the characteristics of the decentralized trust, through the blockchain technology, the unique digital abstract algorithm code of the work can be written so that the original work cannot be forgotten and tampered with. At the same time, in the face of the massive copyright works in the copyright market, blockchain technology can allow massive works to be recorded and confirmed in real time. Otherwise, in the reality, when you have for example, when you have a work, you need to register online, and the process may be for quite a long time because for the copyright registrations, they also need to record down one by one. With blockchain, this changes the time-consuming, difficulty-proof, and the rights protections of the traditional offline registrations. And it can be said that it will make a big change to the process and methods of copyright protection in the past, and has also moved from offline to online, which is catering to the general direction of the development of the internet market. Because nowadays, we tend to create, more and more people tend to create their work online instead of release and publish offline. With the blockchain, it can register, trace, and protect the rights online directly. And there are more and more scenarios in terms of the blockchain applications, but this tree, right, is something that is really related to our daily life. So the next one is, what is the future of the blockchain? I believe a lot of people understand about blockchain and is from the finance industry. So we can talk a little bit about the blockchain in the finance industries, and then there are 3 concepts we'll show in these sections. This is the first 2 concepts, DeFi and SeFi. Okay, so anyone know the exact word of DeFi and SeFi? Yeah, so DeFi is the short for decentralized finance. Sometimes we also call, sometimes not all the times, sometimes we also call it open finance. It normally refers to the digital assets and the financial smart contracts, agreements, and the dApps built on the Ethereum network. From the peer-to-peer payment system to automatic loans to stable coins linked to the USD dollar, this DeFi, right, this concept has become one of the most active areas of the blockchain. And it is not really a new concept, but I wanted to talk here because later we will have a new concept. In order to, for those who are not familiar with DeFi, there's decentralized finance. We can look at how traditional finance comes into being, which is DeFi, centralized finance. So for centralized finance, right, it's basically humans initially exchange the goods and services, but with the formation and the development of human society, the economy also develops. Then we invented currency to facilitate the exchange of valuable things. Subsequently, right, the currency helped introduce new innovations and higher levels of economy productivity. And historically, central agencies like governments have been issuing currencies that support our economy. And the people expect central banks and institutions to carefully manage and supervise the money supply in the circulations. So in our economic growth, right, so central institutions I mentioned, like central bank, the government, they have gained the more power and more people trust them. So our current actually system is called DeFi, centralized finance. So DeFi is something different. So what DeFi is trying to build is to establish a financial system that is open to everyone and to minimize people's trust and the reliance on the central institutions. This is DeFi. Okay. So this is a very good article, and I do recommend people to read about this, because this one actually is written by the Brian Armstrong, the co-founder of the Coinbase. And I believe a lot of people heard about Coinbase because the recent IPO. And actually in this, right, he discussed about the centralized and the decentralized finance. So in his article, he thinks adoption of cryptocurrency will happen in several phases. So the first one is the investment phase, which people speculate and try to make money on crypto. And this is what most people in the cryptocurrency and even blockchain, they is trying to do. So for the investment phase, right, a lot of activities actually done through centralized exchanges. However, in the future, there will be a utility phase. So people will begin to use cryptocurrency interacting with dApps. And this is currently about, like, I would like to say a little bit more, is 15% of the activity is happening today. And normally, for example, the function is decentralized wallets. So actually people use decentralized wallets to store their cryptocurrencies. Yeah. Therefore, in his point of view, we need both centralized and a decentralized system to create an open financial systems. However, recently, right, there's a new concept arising, the DeFi. So a lot of people may think that centralization and the decentralizations, they conflict with each other. However, this new concept is introduced, as its name shows, is a combination of centralizations and decentralizations. So anyone can guess which part is centralization and which part is decentralizations. Actually, I have the answer here. Yeah. So for the centralization part is the traditional centralized financial companies. For the decentralization part is the mature DeFi applications. So this concept actually is like an upgrade or a summary of the Armstrong articles. So actually the co-founder of the Coinbase, so basically the writer of this article, right? He released his idea. This article actually released in 2018. This concept is released this year. So actually this concept is proposed by another co-founder of one of the famous crypto exchange, Zhao Changpeng. Okay, the exchange name is Binance. So it is an upgrade of the centralization and the decentralization. He thinks that centralization and decentralization is not black and white. They can combine together, catering to current economy systems. So why do we need CDEFI? Because the CDEFI system will bring the benefits of regulatory safeguards in the traditional system. It is a combination of regulatory protection infrastructure and innovative finance products. How can we understand this? So basically, the centralized part means our regulatory infrastructure actually is built by a centralized institutions. However, when you are trying to use like the depths on the infrastructure, the finance products in the infrastructure, right? Those applications actually are decentralized. So this is how we understand this CDEFI. So may I know if you have any questions on this CDEFI? So I would like to say, right, decentralized finance is an ideal situation. However, I mean, nothing can be ideal, right? So this CDEFI, centralized, decentralized finance is a trend in the future that can help us to make our finance system more efficient. And this CDEFI can be one of the futures of the blockchain applications in the finance industry. Okay, so currently, I have already answered the agenda's question. So basically, it's what is blockchain, what is cryptocurrency, what is the relationship between the blockchain and the cryptocurrency, where does blockchain exist in our daily life, and what is the possible future of blockchain? So let's come back with the first question in our slides page. Is what we are talking about when we talk about blockchain, technology or finance. And we can answer that blockchain, right, is a technology. So when you discuss with people about blockchain, I hope most of people can discuss about the development of this technology and try to see how we can improve in the blockchain trilemma. Because if we can have a breakthrough in the blockchain trilemma, this blockchain technology can be applied even into a more broad scope of our daily scenarios. Okay, thank you for your time here. So currently, I have already shared all the basically the fundamental elements of the blockchain. So for the questions, actually, you can type in the Q&A. For the questions, you can type in the Q&A. So currently, questions related to cryptocurrencies, right, will not be answered. So if you want to understand something more related to cryptocurrencies, kindly contact us individually for more information. But if you have any questions regarding the blockchain technology, you can ask in the Q&A. Let me see the question first. Oh, okay. This one I can show you. Give me a moment. Okay, so basically the article that written by the co-founder of the Coinbase is this one. You can see the source line. So this is article. You can just Google this article. It's quite it's a lot of source, I would like to say. Yeah. Okay, someone is asked what system is China adopting, right? DCFE. Okay, so I would like to say that with a central institution is existing in the world, I mean, not only in China, DCFE actually is the one of the model that can embrace blockchain into the financial, I would like to say finance system. So actually what China is doing is trying to do DCFE. Yeah. Okay, so I saw someone ask about the blockchain in the hospital or doctors. Okay, so in this case, right, actually, currently the most applicable case is more like the medicine one lah. So a lot of I would like to say online, for example, in the China, right, they have some like online medical platform. So they will have the online to offline medicine delivery, and also in China the hospital will have the same one. So currently the blockchain is more applied into the medicine traceabilities, is to make sure the quality of the medicine, and this is one of the application of the blockchain in the hospital or the doctors in the hospital background. Okay, so the savvy, right? Actually, print money. This is actually is a different thing. So the savvy actually means when you're trying to, I would like to say, when you're trying to use the finance product, it's not only about money. Yeah, it's not only about money. Actually, it's once you use the savvy, it is not necessary that you will have a cryptocurrencies. So means once you use this fee, the one of the advantage is the users can have the control of their transaction flow, and also to have the control of their transaction information release. But for the money wise, right, it's different. So the SEFI actually is also a system that controlled by a centralized institutions. So in terms of the infrastructure, if the centralized institution still want to do something right, they can still do something in terms of the instructions. But when users are using the apps, so because, for example, we have different apps in the iOS App Store. So the dApps is like the apps in the iOS Apple Store. The centralized network is like the App Store. So the decentralized apps is like the software lah. So in this, I believe this one you can compare the DSAFI as the platform as well as the apps. But actually, you cannot control you as a users, right? You cannot control how the platform will do. So, okay, so in terms of the medical history, actually, it reminds me of another application case, which is insurance. Yes. So basically, for insurance-wise, blockchain is not really directly into the hospital background, but for example, the medical insurance, right? Actually, when currently people can already to sign the medical insurance online in when you okay, so I mentioned a company here, which is a Ping An Good Doctor. So Ping An actually they are contribute a lot into the insurance blockchain network. So in this case, right, all their medical insurance actually they can sign online directly with the information they subtract from the users, as well as it is proved by the authorities. Okay, so from my understanding, right, if CDFI, this concept really realized in our daily life, individual users' phone and the computer is just an access point. So the access point doesn't mean that this is an access point. So in the access point, you can only manage your own data. This is the first thing. You can only manage your own information. So the security of the DSAFI actually is still related to blockchain technology itself. So means what is the security of the DSAFI is decided by the underlying blockchain technology, which I mentioned in the, give me a moment now, which I mentioned in the blockchain trilemma. So it's the basic and the essential element of this trilemma. So your user's personal phone and the computer, to a certain extent, right, will not affect the security of DSAFI, because if the hackers, they only hack your own phone and the computer, if they want to change, right, they also need to get consensus from the whole blockchain nodes. However, for your side, right, is the access to your own information. But the change of this information you need to do is on the blockchain. Actually, okay, so I need to mention something, right? It actually is China already start to build currency on the blockchain, but it is different from Bitcoin because, I mean, even it is a cryptocurrency, right? Some cryptocurrencies, they don't have the constant amount. I believe if you have a little bit knowledge about cryptocurrency, you know which project I'm talking about. So even the cryptocurrency, it is not normal for them to have a constant amount. So what China is doing, right, is they are trying to build a blockchain infrastructure, and China actually has started to adopt blockchain and the digital currencies. But this digital currency is different from cryptocurrency? Yeah, it's because they use this digital currency is more for transaction transparency as well as information privacy. And for China, normally if the government want to use blockchain to build a digital currency, they just use the blockchain technology itself. So BTC is different because BTC once it from its start, right, they have the limitation, they have the constant amount, which is 21 million. So people need to do mining. But for government side, right, if they do the blockchain, actually mining is not a necessary thing. And also in terms of the cryptocurrency, right, cryptocurrency is still a very, I would like to say, a very risky product. Cryptocurrency is still a very risky product. So you, for yourself, right, we need to read about the project white paper. We need to understand the project roadmap, as well as we need to understand the founder of the project. If you guys are interested in certain cryptocurrency project. Okay, this question, right, about mining. Okay, so let me explain this way. Okay, mining is a big part of cryptocurrency, but it is not necessary to blockchain technology. But we still need mining because when you're doing the record down, it is already not to, and how can I explain? So when the blocks is to record down the information, right, it is not really considered as mining. However, mining is something that is necessary for the cryptocurrency because it can help you to show, sometimes it can help you show the proof of your work. Okay, so for mining part, right, if you are also interested in mining part, you can contact me individually lah. Yeah. Because mining is really it's also a complex concept. I didn't include here because mining is something that is really complicated in terms of different crypto projects. So if you have you are more interested in mining aspect, you can also contact us individually. Okay, so basically, if you wanna contact us individually, right, you can write an email here. Currently, for our Philips Security, right, we have this Cash Plus account promotions. So for this account promotions, right, we have the promotion rate applicable from 1st of April to the end of the year. So you can trade US shares from 1.88 US dollar flat and no foreign custody fee and no platform fees. You can just scan this QR code to open your Cash Plus account. And also we have the CFD. We have the CFD. We use a CFD, right? You can trade on the volatilities. CFD stands for contract for differences. So for more information, if you are really interested in the crypto as well as the mining, right? You can send your questions or your thoughts to the email here. Yeah. Okay, thank you for your time listening to this webinar, and I hope the fundamental knowledge I share can give you guys a little bit source in terms of the blockchain technology itself. So as we always hear from the society, like technology is, blockchain is a very hot technology, right? So we can focus and pay attention to the development and this technology. And I believe if you look around yourself, there are a lot of blockchain technologies lying down during your daily life. And if you have more questions, please email us. Thank you very much.